Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for dropping by this video. A warm welcome to anyone who's new. This channel is dedicated to helping people understand the difference between authentic non-duality and pseudo, watered down, fake non-duality, often called Neo-Advaita. So you can find out more about these topics on the links in the chat box or below. So I've been on this journey now for 4 years of deconstructing Neo-Advaita, starting to study traditional non-duality, and sharing my process of recovery from Neo-Advaita. And I've been having over the last couple days, a huge shift aha. And it's very simply this: that Neo-Advaita is nothing more and nothing less than a path of dissociation and a belief system. That's all it is. It's a process of thinking non-dual thoughts nonstop and trying to pretend believe them and experience a dissociated state of consciousness. That's it. That's all Neo-Advaita is. Of course, there's nuances and there's variations. Whereas traditional Advaita traditional non-duality is literally a holistic process that integrates body, emotions, mind, that is focused on guiding people how to live in a righteous, harmonious manner. And by righteous, I don't mean puritanical, I mean harmonious, virtuous manner, while connecting to there's something up with my camera. One moment. There we go. Something was blocking my camera. We have the full picture now. I didn't have the full picture before. Now I do, about many things. And please feel free to type in comments and questions if you'd like. Whereas Advaita is about traditional, actual non-duality is literally a way of life that integrates all these levels of being and helps people to live virtuous, good, healthy, helpful lives while connecting to this quote, expanded state of consciousness. And here's the kicker: and life living as a path towards that, we call it expanded because we're not aware of it, but towards liberation. So it all, and by the way, before I go any further, and I always try and say this at the beginning, I was so excited I forgot. I am not a guru and I am not enlightened. I'm just sharing my own experience. On my website, you'll find links to traditional gurus and traditional organizations that teach non-duality. What I teach is recovery from fake non-duality. So it all comes down really to one word: Dharma. Now, Dharma is very oftenly associated with the Buddhist tradition, and the Buddhist tradition is very focused on that word, but it's actually the central word in pretty much every form of Indian philosophy, including non-duality. And outside the Buddhist context, Dharma, it has literally 10 different meanings, but one of them is duty. Duty in a very specific sense of coming to know who you are. I'm not talking about a non-dual. I'm talking about coming to understand your personality, your gifts, your weaknesses, having an understanding of your various responsibilities and your place in society. Are you a husband or wife? Do you have children? What are your commitments? Like, what is your place in society? And doing it well, doing it as an act of service. Can you see the difference? Neo-Advaita is like, just inquire. It's just this dissociated. Traditional Advaita offers this vision of you as a member of the human family, and an essential part of the spiritual path is doing that well, is participating in a harmonious way. And so this is what Neo-Advaita lacks, is a compass for how to live. Neo-Advaita teaches you two things: to think non-dual thoughts and to dissociate. Traditional Advaita Vedanta literally teaches you how to live, and is this holistic, systematic process of leading people towards a harmonious and a meaningful life, all the while leading them towards that experience of moksha, liberation, of consciousness, of knowing our true self. It integrates. Neo-Advaita dissociates and pushes away body, emotions, mind, personality, talents, gifts. Traditional Advaita integrates them, puts them to use for the good of the world, and simultaneously uses them as a path, as an actual sadhana, as a spiritual practice, doing your duty as a spiritual practice. And again, duty has a very specific meaning here. So all of this, I've been kind of grasping towards this, but I really, and so Neo-Advaita is all focused on abstract philosophy. Traditional Advaita is all focused on how to live and how to integrate consciousness into your day-to-day life. And not just like, oh, as I'm walking, I'm aware of consciousness, but literally like bringing it into family, into relationships, into your work. And I've mentioned many times, that's what karma yoga is. This idea of living your life as a form of service. And so I hope I'm communicating. I feel that after 5 years, I have a very clear vision of the non-dual path. And it has nothing to do with believing that I am not the body. That's part of it. Yeah, I shouldn't say nothing. That's like the tail end of it. Everything that's left out in Neo-Advaita is everything we need. How to live and how to have a balanced body, emotions, mind, and a balanced life, which therefore not just supports the experience of consciousness, but to where your life becomes an expression of goodness. Because in Neo-Advaita, consciousness is just like this, like abstract nothingness, right? But in traditional Advaita, and I want to speak very carefully here, so I'm not going to talk about, what I'll say is the vision of life that's offered is a life of meaning and virtue, and yes, freedom, but service and devotion, and yes, liberation, but liberation that's grounded on, that has a foundation in an integrated, balanced, meaningful life. And so now we can see what the appeal of Neo-Advaita is. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do your duty. You don't have to. It's very lazy. It certainly made me lazy. It's very lazy because you can learn how to just flick the switch and get a hit of consciousness. And it's like, well, I don't want to do anything. I feel whole and complete now. Neo-Advaita leaves people, it left me completely lost with no compass. Sure, I could spend hours every day in a state of wholeness and peace, but it didn't show me what to do in the moments where I wasn't experiencing that. And it didn't show me what to do when I wasn't meditating. It's completely dissociated from this world, hence it's completely dualistic. Neo-Advaita is not non-duality. Neo-Advaita is duality on steroids. It's uber duality. So I'm going to be talking a lot about this in the below this video. You'll see a link to a webinar by a traditional Swamini, a female Swami, which is a combination monk teacher, and that really opened my eyes to what Advaita Vedanta is not a belief system. It's a holistic process. Neo-Advaita is literally just a religion. The mostly dudes, but occasionally one woman, gets up, preaches, and disappears. Like they give this talk, and then they're gone. Advaita Vedanta is like this actual non-duality, is this holistic, systematic way of life that leads you gradually towards an integrated life. And part of an integrated life is integrating the true self, Brahman, consciousness, into your life. And again, not just in the sense of I'm experiencing consciousness as I'm like on the toilet. Like, yes, that's important. But so that your life reflects consciousness, that it reflects truth. And here I'm hesitant to speak because, again, I'm not enlightened, but reflects the truth and is an expression. Neo-Advaita is like, let's just zone out. Actual Advaita is your life becomes an expression of the supreme truth. And service and devotion are two of the key indicators of that expression. And that's why traditional Advaita is focused on service and devotion. And service doesn't just mean going to a soup kitchen or starting a nonprofit. Service means like being a good cat dad, which I am. I'm a cat dad. Like treating that as part of your sadhana. Because without that, then being a cat dad is like separate from my spiritual path. So it's like, oh crap, I got to go take care of the cat. I can't meditate right now. Or like, oh, I'm going to go take care of the cat, but I'm going to just be like, sure, I'll pet the cat and connect with her, but like, I'm going to really have my attention on consciousness while I do that. That's completely dualistic and dissociated. Whereas if you treat being a cat dad as part of your spiritual path and like service to God and service to all that is, and again, I don't want to say too much because I'm just trying to give the overall picture, because I'm not, as I said in the beginning, I'm not a guru, I'm not a teacher. So I am fired up. I am fired up, friends. Thank you so much for your time. And I wish everyone an integrated day. The last thing I'll say is I'm really, now that I've have the vision of, and again, I just have some of the pieces. I'm not saying I have all the pieces, but I feel that I have an overall vision of the process that traditional non-duality is. I am just so aware of how lost Neo-Advaita left me. It left me so lost. No guidance or compass for how to live. But more importantly, it taught me that life had no meaning. There are Neo-Advaita teachers who will straight up say life is meaningless. Some of them won't do it in public. I found one who has, like, last time I checked, like 10,000 plus subscribers on one platform. Let's take a quick look here. So this person, I was wrong. They have over 7,000 followers on one platform. Who knows how many others? They have their content has over 12 million views. 12 million. They've written a book. They do one-on-one consulting with people. In the public sphere, they're very eloquent and love and peace and joy. And in the private sphere, because I worked with someone who studied with this person, their teaching is this: life doesn't exist. Life is meaningless. Nothing, everything is predetermined. You can't do anything. All you can do is just watch. That's their private teaching, which then filters through into their public teaching. 12 million plus views. Hold on one sec here. I'm going to look at. Of course, they declared themselves enlightened. They had no guru. So their content on this one medium, I'm sure they post on multiple mediums. Their one content, their content on this one medium gets over 150,000 views a month. And what are they teaching? Nihilism. Someone who was studying under him came to me for help because this person started to not care about their child anymore. They just were looking at their child as an object, a meaningless object. Neo-Advaita was literally drying up the love in this person's heart that he had for his child. And that's what it'll do. Neo-Advaita will drain you of all your humanity. Not drain, it'll suppress. And then it'll teach you this twisted belief system, which then leaves you trapped. So I am so fired up. I hope people take a moment and check out this Swamini's presentation about traditional Advaita. And thank you so much for walking on this journey with me. Again, I've been doing this for, 5 years now. And one of the reasons I do it is because people show up and people share their experience with me. And that fires me up. It helps me understand my own process in recovering from Neo-Advaita, and it fires me up to recover so that I can help others. So thank you so much to all of you who keep showing up. Big love.